I'm making Nutella and pistachio nut croissants, and I'm using puff pastry dough. What I'm going to do is cut the pastry sheet into 3 triangles, but I'm going to make them quite wide. So each one is going to be this wide. Then I'm going to put just a small amount, just enough to coat almost the way you would butter toast. So you don't want too much because it would melt, It would definitely melt. So just enough. I don't know if you can see, but it's not that heavy an amount. Then just sprinkle. I chopped these pistachios in my chopper, and you just sprinkle just a little bit. Let's see if I can get these out of the way. Let's see if you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so you just roll it up. Like that. Put it with that tip down. I give it a little squeeze to make it turn, and then you have to do egg wash, and I didn't crack open an egg. Be right back. Okay, 1 egg white, and I didn't get any yolk in it, but if you do get a tiny bit of yolk in it, there's no need to panic. It's just to add a bit of shine and glue to the edges, so it'll come out much nicer looking if you do that. Now I'm going to make the other 2, put the pan in the oven at 190 for about 15 minutes, and then show you the end result. Now I have them out of the oven, and they're all golden and ready. Knife out of the way, there we are. This one didn't turn out quite as pretty as I would have liked, but the end result is quite nice, and if nothing else, you can always sneak the less pretty croissants for yourself. Anyway, not that I'm going to do that, but that's how it's done. It's quite easily done. If I had more time, I would work on learning his recipe for puff pastry. It is a bit more involved than the pie pastry that I so successfully made of his. And I'm currently still working on making my corn tortillas puff up the way they're supposed to. That's probably going to take me some time, because as I said, the one person who posted how long it took said it took him 50 tries to get it right. And I simply don't have time to do 50 tries in a week. So it is going to take some time, but it will be well worth it when I do get it right. And I know I will. I have the right equipment, I have the authentic recipe, I know I'll conquer it one day. But I'll make certain that people watching that video are aware that it is not as easy as the lady whose recipe I watched makes it look. She's been doing it for years, just like John's puff pastry. So yeah, this is what I'm doing for now, and it is quite nice. Everyone loves them. And I'll also be making a diabetic-friendly one with just a light dusting of grated cinnamon and almonds. And I'll include that with this video. So I hope you enjoy it. Now I'm going to make the diabetic-friendly ones. This one is going to be cinnamon and raisin with coconut sugar, because coconut doesn't make blood sugar spike the way cane sugar does. So let's see here. I'm going to get my pizza cutter and my egg wash from the washing up. Need to get them dried. Nothing has had time to dry. So once again, cutting a nice wide triangle. And they tend to stick to the paper, so you want to keep them moving as much as possible. And you want to move as quickly as possible when getting them done. Okay, there's the now egg wash is going to be the glue inside for the sugar, cinnamon and raisins. I'm working on honey almond, but I need to work on how to keep the honey from being too sticky. And I think I'm going to need a thicker pastry for that. Ocado don't sell the blocks of puff pastry, but Tesco do, so I can just ask one of my friends to get them for me another time. Now I've got the egg wash on, so I want to sprinkle, just dust a bit of the coconut sugar. I was hoping that my sifter would arrive today, but it has not, so just get what I can done. And then dust the freshly grated cinnamon. Oh, it smells so good. Freshly grated cinnamon just has its own depth of flavour and smell. It's just amazing. It is hard work though. It is hard work grating all of the sticks and then filtering out the bark. But to me, it is worth it because the flavour is just incredible. Okay, now I want to sprinkle just a few onions, just a few raisins in the larger part of the triangle, not the tip, because if you put them in the tip, they're too big and it won't close properly. Now, don't know if you can see, I think you can, yeah. I take the bottom part of it, the wide part of the triangle, and just carefully roll it over the raisins, and then put it with the tip down. I give it that same little bend. There we are. And do the same thing for the other two. Just carefully roll them. Leave the tip down. And remember that you don't want the pastry to get too warm. It needs to be fairly cold. So only let it sit for like 10 minutes, 7 to 10 minutes before you start working with it, because the warmer it gets, the stickier it gets, and the more difficult to work with it gets. Now these will go in the oven 190 for about 15 minutes and I'll be back. Okay, 15 minutes exactly for these, and I wish you could smell them. The cinnamon smell is gorgeous, and I think if I were to put apple in them it would be too wet. So I think this is a good combination for autumn flavours, and I can't wait to hear what they're like. So you might want to try them. This is for diabetic friends of yours, and I tried to work with the gluten-free Jusrol crust and it was a nightmare, but I am going to try again because I do have, there's quite a few of you who are celiac, so I'm going to try it again. But yeah, these are just lovely. So I hope that you enjoy these two videos.